a fresh agent session, a few MCP servers enabled, and before you have typed a single instruction, 50,000 tokens are already gone. Spent on tool schemas the model already knew. This video shows why the command line wins on local work. It also shows the 4 steps to fix your setup. First, let me define the words we are using. MCP stands for the Model Context Protocol. It is a standard way for AI tools to plug into other programs. Think of it as a menu. It tells the model what buttons each program offers and how to press them. This video makes a careful point. It is not that MCP is bad. It is that MCP became the default interface for local development, and that choice was a mistake. On your own machine, a better way has been here all along. Here is the core question we are answering. Why did the hottest tool in AI development slow down local work and burn money, and what should we use instead? The answer, as so often happens, is the humble command line. Let me start with the cost, because that is the real pain. When a fresh agent session begins, every MCP server sends over its full tool list. Each tool arrives with names, descriptions, and argument schemas. All that enters the model's context before the first task. With several servers switched on, this overhead adds up fast. Real sessions commonly burn 40 to 70,000 tokens on nothing but schemas. Heavy setups pass 100,000. They eat the reasoning your task deserves. Here is the key insight. For local tools, the model already knows well. The schema dump is almost pure waste. That means Git, Docker, or a JSON parser. It has seen these tools a million times. So how did we get here? Why did MCP get applied so widely and so eagerly? To understand, we need to see what MCP is genuinely good at. It is a transport and discovery protocol. It connects models to external systems and finds what they can do. That makes it excellent for remote services in the cloud. It shines for multi-tenant agents, where many users share one setup. And it is a lifesaver inside sandboxes that have no shell at all. For those cases, MCP is right. The mistake was different. It was treating MCP as the universal tool interface, and it switched it on by default for local development. A protocol built for hard remote problems became the habit for simple local work. That is a category error, and it is expensive. Now let us look at the first real mismatch, and it is about familiarity. Large language models were trained on shell transcripts, manual pages, Stack Overflow, and thousands of real scripts. They are fluent in the command line. They know flags, pipes, and exit codes. When you force the model through a rigid JSON schema instead, it relearns a skill it already has. That relearning costs tokens. It causes misreads, made-up parameters, and wrong tool choices. A fluent speaker forced to read from a script. The Unix philosophy is built on small tools that do one thing well and work together. The model absorbed that during training. MCP asks it to ignore that fluency and talk to a flat list of isolated buttons instead. A step backward for a model that knows better. The second loss is composability. This is the ability to chain tools together in one flowing action. On the command line, the model filters a log, sorts the lines, and counts the unique ones, all in a single command. One step, not 4. Raw MCP calls cannot do that. Each call is atomic and isolated, like pressing one button and waiting. To change steps, the model makes several round trips. Every intermediate result re-enters the context. The costs stack with every step. The benchmark numbers make the gap vivid. For simpler operations, command line and code execution use a fraction of the tokens that naive multi-tool MCP sequences consume. That can be 4 to 30 times fewer. Not a small win. So there is a deeper problem here, and it is not just technical, it is cultural. Publishing an MCP server is easy and calling it modern feels good. So teams added servers liberally, one after another. They never asked if each one earned its place. Every new server drags more schema tags into the context window. The local inner loop you run 100 times a day carries the heaviest overhead. The work that matters most slowed down the most. Now, let me be honest, because credibility matters. MCP still belongs in real places. First, when there is no usable command line and the model must reach a remote service over an API. There, MCP is practical. Second, in multi-user systems that need shared logins, permission scopes, and an audit trail. Third, inside sandboxes that deliberately have no shell like web agents or desktop apps. Fourth, when you need standardized discovery across many client tools. In those cases, The protocol overhead is not waste. It is the fair price of governance and portability. So, this is not a call to abandon MCP everywhere. It is a call to stop using it as the default on your own machine. Which brings us to the payoff. Here are the 4 steps to fix your setup. Step 1 is immediate and tactical. Prefer the command line for any local tool the model already knows. That means Git, GitHub, Docker, Kubernetes, AWS, and more. It also means package managers, build tools, JSON parsers, and media tools. Use the shell for all of them. Then disable any MCP servers you do not need. Give your harness a capable shell tool. Ask for structured output so results come back clean. Step 2 is about building better tools. Make your command line tools agent friendly from the start. Use consistent flags. Support JSON output. Write complete help text that ends with a 0 exec code. Then the module can read it safely and learn on demand. This is progressive disclosure. The model reads the help text only when it needs it. That beats a giant static schema dumped at session start. The model learns one flag at a time on demand. Less waste, more clarity. Step 3 is the real power layer. The agent harness is the engine that runs the loop. It handles permissions, state, retrieve, compaction, and injecting results back into context. A well-designed command line tool becomes a first-class tool the harness invokes. The harness does the orchestration, not the schema. Keep thin wrapper scripts and skill files for your favorite patterns. Some teams even wrap MCP servers behind command line ergonomics. The model then talks to the shell instead of the raw schema. Worth copying. Step 4 is to design for the hybrid future. This is the mental model that matters most. Split your world into 2 loops. The inner loop is local, single user, and high frequency. That uses the command line plus your harness with minimal schema tags. The outer loop is remote, multi-user, and compliance heavy. That loop uses MCP and APIs with proper governance and audit. Here is the rule that would have saved everyone a fortune. Build the command line first. Add an MCP adapter later if needed. Too many teams did the reverse. They built the adapter first and the command line became an afterthought. That is how we ended up with the token heavy mess. So audit your setup ruthlessly. Keep servers that cross trust boundaries, convert the rest to the shell. Let me close with practical notes so the fix actually sticks. Prefer structured output wherever a tool supports it. That gives the model clean results instead of a wall of messy text. Fewer errors, less wasted context. Use approval gates or sandboxes for commands that change state. You do not want a model to delete files or push code without a human checking first. Keep your skill files lean. Load skills only when the task needs them, not in the opening. Watch out for noisy command output. A huge dump can flood the context window and crowd out the work. Trim it and pass only the useful parts to the model, but do not overcorrect. A thin, well-documented tool beats an undocumented free-for-all shell. Now, the cultural shift I want to leave you with. Structure still matters, but only when it earns its cost. For every tool you add, ask 3 questions. Does the model already know this interface? Is the work local and single user? Does a good command line exist? If the answer to those is yes, use the command line and your harness. Only reach for MCP when the answers lean no. The correction is already underway. Early adopters are moving their local loops back to the shell, keeping MCP for the remote cases. You do not need to wait. Today you can switch your local tools to the command line. Prune your servers and watch your token bill shrink. Start with the loop you run most often. The change is small. The savings are immediate. To recap in one breath. The 50,000 token tax comes from schemas the model already knew. The command line wins on local work. It is familiar, composable, and nearly free. MCP stays for the remote governed cases. The fix, prefer the shell, build better tools, harness the shell, design for the hybrid. And if this all felt a little too obvious in hindsight, that is the point. The best fix is often the one sitting on your machine, waiting to be remembered. Thanks for watching. See you in the next deep dive. One last note, and it is a small confession. I almost called this video MCP in the command line loop, a perfect Unix style name. Then I remembered the model would probably try to pipe it into a sort command, so I went with something more human.